We have just learned of a development so explosive and far-reaching that it permanently reshapes the trajectory of American history. Moments ago, a federal judge issued an immediate arrest order after an extraordinary admission made in open court by Donald Trump's own personal defense attorney. What you are witnessing is the real-time collapse of the Trump presidency. The authority Donald Trump believed he wielded over the justice system vanished in an instant. In the eyes of the law, he is no longer the commander-in-chief. He is a suspect. He is a target. The Republican Party, which spent years shielding him, is now watching in shock as its worst fear materializes. The man they protected is being stripped of power not through the ballot box, but through the undeniable exposure of his own corruption. The substance of this admission is even more devastating than anticipated. The attorney acknowledged that the money used to fund private contractors in the Venezuela operation, currently under Senate investigation, was routed through the same shell companies receiving no-bid contracts from the Department of Homeland Security. The link is unmistakable. Taxpayer funds taken from Minneapolis under the cover of Operation Metro Surge were redirected to finance a foreign coup designed to serve Donald Trump's personal business interests. It was a self-contained criminal pipeline, and the lawyer openly admitted it. He stated it plainly, pointing directly to the Oval Office. That is why the judge ordered the arrest. There was no alternative. When there is a confession that the U.S. government was commandeered for personal gain, the courts cannot allow those involved to walk free. The judge's ruling sent shockwaves through the entire executive branch. It serves as a warning to every cabinet official, every aide, and every general that continuing to follow Trump's directives now means participation in an admitted crime. This is the precise moment Trump loses control. Not officially, perhaps not yet, but in practice. Who would obey orders from a man whose own lawyer has implicated him in a federal felony? The chain of command has fractured. Consider the 18 Republican senators who already broke ranks. This admission validates their decision. But for the rest of the party still clinging to a sinking vessel, this is the end. There is no refuge left. They can no longer cry witch hunt when the president's own attorney has confessed to the witchcraft. They can no longer deny evidence when that evidence stands in a courtroom, restrained and sworn. They are cornered, and they own this outcome. Every Republican who voted to acquit him, excused his actions, or attacked investigators is now marked by this admission. And the situation worsens. The lawyer did not stop at financial wrongdoing. He disclosed the existence of recordings. Yes, audio tapes. Recordings of Donald Trump issuing the orders himself. The attorney revealed this to secure a plea deal. This is the smoking gun long suspected. These recordings will echo across every screen worldwide. We will hear the president ordering the theft of public funds. We will hear his disregard for the lives of American soldiers. We will hear the voice of a criminal. The consequences for Minneapolis are enormous. The admission directly ties Metro Surge funding to criminal conduct. That means the operation that terrorized American citizens, the operation that killed Alex Prey and Renee Good, was never legitimate law enforcement. It was a money laundering scheme. Every agent currently deployed there must now question whether they are serving their country or a criminal enterprise. This confession delegitimizes the entire DHS crackdown, exposing the so-called law and order president as a thief who used police power to conceal his crimes. Inside the White House, as this unfolds, the atmosphere is one of total collapse. Donald Trump has lost control. The illusion has shattered. The legal barrier has fallen. For the first time, we have confirmed that someone from the president's inner circle has turned on him to save themselves, admitting under oath that Donald Trump personally ordered criminal acts involving the U.S. military and the federal treasury. You need to stop and absorb this, because the mainstream media is struggling to process the scale of what just happened inside that federal courtroom. This is not speculation. This is not a leak. It is a sworn confession that implicates the president in the gravest high crimes imaginable. The attorney, who will be remembered as the one who toppled the House of Cards, told the judge that the financial records tied to the Venezuela coup and the frozen assets were falsified on Donald Trump's direct orders. The judge acted immediately. The attorney was arrested on charges of conspiracy and obstruction of justice, and a material witness warrant was issued that places Donald Trump squarely in the sights of federal marshals. You must grasp the weight of this moment. The President of the United States has effectively been named a co-conspirator in a criminal scheme that has now been laid bare. We are now receiving reports that staff members are resigning in large numbers. They are leaving the building, contacting their own attorneys, and distancing themselves as quickly as possible. No one wants to be the final person standing beside someone on the verge of indictment. His authority is evaporating by the second. He can shout, he can post online, he can issue threats, but none of it changes the reality that his own legal defense has collapsed. He is cut off, abandoned, and stripped of power. And we must acknowledge the resolve shown by this judge. Despite what must have been enormous pressure, the judge did not hesitate and ordered the arrest immediately. The court made it clear that it will not be intimidated. There was no permission to go home, no delay granted, no room for maneuver. This was swift, decisive justice, the kind Donald Trump has never encountered. He is accustomed to paying his way out of trouble, to settling disputes quietly. But a criminal confession cannot be settled away. You cannot purchase freedom when your own attorney has handed prosecutors everything they need. This moment also demolishes any remaining argument about absolute immunity that the Supreme Court recently addressed. Even if some theoretical protection still existed, it would not apply here. This was an alleged criminal conspiracy to defraud the United States, and no president is immune from that. The court's ruling removed the shield, and the lawyer's confession supplied the blade. The legal pincer has closed. One arm stripped away protection, the other struck decisively. It raises the question of what the Department of Justice is doing right now. With this confession formally entered into the record, the Attorney General has no discretion left. Indictment is unavoidable. We may be hours, perhaps minutes, away from the first criminal indictment of a sitting president in American history, driven by testimony from his own inner circle. The betrayal could not be more complete. Donald Trump demands loyalty, yet offers none. And eventually, everyone cracks. His lawyer cracked, and in doing so shattered the presidency itself. What was chaos in the Senate will now become a full collapse. Republicans will be unable to maintain any unified defense. How could they? When the president's own attorney has admitted to the crime, we will see a surge of senators calling for removal. The impeachment process is effectively finished. The evidence is decisive. The question is no longer whether he committed the acts, but how quickly he can be removed. The Republican Party will attempt to distance itself, portraying its members as victims as well. But that narrative will not stand. They created this force, nurtured it, and now it has consumed them. Take a moment to feel the significance of this outcome. For years, we were told accountability was impossible. We were told he was untouchable, that rules did not apply to him. Today proves otherwise. Today confirms that facts matter, that truth has weight, and that even entrenched corruption can collapse when pressure is sustained. Every protest, every call to lawmakers, every vote contributed to this moment, the moment when the law finally caught up with those who defied it. But vigilance remains essential. A stripped of power Donald Trump is still dangerous. As he realizes the end is real, he may attempt to incite chaos or lash out destructively. We must be ready. We must not react emotionally or fall into traps. We must trust the legal process now moving forward with unstoppable force. The arrest order is only the beginning. The restraints will follow. The trial will come. A verdict will be reached. The arrest referenced in the headlines, the lawyer's arrest, is the spark, the first domino. But there should be no doubt that the final domino is Donald Trump himself. The attorney is the thread leading straight to the heart of the web, and the spider now sits exposed with nowhere left to flee. The loss of power is the central truth of this story. Without his attorneys, without secrecy, without money, he is simply a man, angry, isolated, and defeated. What we are witnessing is the reaffirmation of a core American promise, that no individual stands above the law, that this nation is governed by rules, not personalities. The journey here has been long and painful. We have endured loss and damage, but today, light is finally breaking through. Justice is not dead. It was waiting for the moment when it could act decisively, and that moment has arrived. Share this development. Tell those around you. Do not allow it to be minimized. A lawyer admitted to a conspiracy involving the president, and a judge ordered an arrest. That is the reality. That is the truth. And it marks the end of Donald Trump's power. History is unfolding. Do not look away, because what follows will shape the Republic's future. The coming hours will bring frantic distractions and desperate spin, but keep your attention on the courtroom and the law. The system is functioning. The machinery of justice is turning, and it is grinding Donald Trump's authority down to nothing. He wanted to be remembered as a historic president. He will be, but not in the way he imagined. He will be remembered as the first to watch his power dissolve in real time due to his own criminal exposure. This is a hopeful day for America, a frightening one for authoritarians, and a reckoning for the Republican Party. They bound themselves to criminality, and now they will fall with it. They were offered countless chances to choose differently. They refused. Now accountability arrives. The arrest order stands. The confession is on record. The power is gone. Donald Trump is finished, and we, the people, are only beginning the work of reclaiming our country. Stay steady, stay focused, and remember, truth prevails in the end. Always.